My name is Teacher Doreen, and we are going to have a brief lesson in Literacy 2. That is what we call the SST, but when it comes to lower, it is the Literacy 2. So basically today, we are going to look at a house. What is a house? We all have houses. There is a difference between a house and a home. So, specifically today we are going to look at a house. And my question today is, what is a house? So, a house, as we all have them, is a building where people live. As I had earlier said, that there is a difference between a house and a home. In this case, a home is a place. But when I talk of a house is a building, a structure where we all live. That is what we call a house. Now, when we are looking at a house has different types. A house is of two types. Number one, let's look at the types of houses. We have two types of houses. Number one, we have a permanent house. We have a permanent house. A permanent house is a house that is built using strong building materials. This is a house, even if you shake it, it cannot break. Even if you kick it, it cannot fall down. It is a house which is built with strong building materials. This house, it is very strong and it lasts for a very long time. This is the advantage of this permanent house. It is built with materials that last for a long time. So we are going to look at examples of these permanent houses. These houses that can last for a long time. Examples of permanent houses. They cannot be swept away by wind. Even if strong wind comes, even if floods come, they cannot be swept away. Why? Because they are built with strong building materials. Number one house that is a permanent one is a flat. Some of us in our homes, we have flats. We have storage houses. So that house is very strong because it is built with strong building materials. Even if wind comes, that house cannot be swept away. Why? Because it is built with strong building materials. Let's look at some examples of these materials that are used to build the flat. For example, we have blocks. Blocks are strong. They can build a strong house, and this house can last for a very long time. We have sand, we have cement. Those are the strong building materials that can be used to build houses like a flat. Now, when we are looking at examples of the permanent houses, we have a flat, and then number two, we have a bungalow. This one is a normal house. It is not a flat, but these normal houses of ours, you find it has a garage, it has a shed, it has a veranda, just normal houses. This is what we call a bungalow. It is also a strong house. It is built on with strong building materials. So these are the only 2 houses that we have that are permanent. Only 2. So these are the only 2 permanent houses that we have. A flat and a bungalow. There is no other strong house. There is no other permanent house apart from these 2, the flat and the bungalow. Let us go at the second type of house. These ones are the temporary houses. The temporary houses. Temporary houses are the houses that are built with weak building materials. For them, they are weak. Even when strong wind comes, they are blown off. Even when floods come, these houses can sink. These are houses that are weak. They are built with weak building materials. These are houses built with weak building materials. For example, if a house is built with grass is a weak building material. So what do you expect? This house will not last for long. So these are what we call the temporary houses. Let's look at briefly the examples of the temporary houses. Examples of temporary houses. Number 1, we have a hut. A hut is built with grass. A hut is built with sticks. A hut is built with mud. A hut is built with those weak building materials. So that makes it a temporary house because it cannot last for long. Number 2, we have a mud house. These are houses built with mud. Mud, of course, is a weak building material. So what do you expect when you build a house with mud? Anytime strong wind comes, that house may not last for long. Thirdly, we have a tent. We all know that you can wake up in the morning and you build a tent in your compound. So when strong wind comes, that tent can waver. That tent cannot be strong. So a tent is also a temporary house. No matter how it is built, some other people sleep in them, some other people use them for functions, but it is still a house because it provides shade. So it is a temporary house because anytime you can remove it, pack it, keep it. Are we together? So another example of a temporary house is a uniport. Some of us, we may not know what a uniport is, but I want to give you an example of a uniport. When you go to the barracks, there are those small houses that those soldiers sleep in. Those houses are called uniports. They are never strong. They are always weak. Then lastly, I have what we call a kiosk. A kiosk is another temporary house. You can even carry it and you take it somewhere. You can even shift it and you put it in some other place because it is never permanent. It is temporary. Now, a kiosk, I want us to take an example of these mobile money buildings. These buildings of mobile money that you see on your road when mommy sends you for airtime, when daddy tells you to go and buy for him airtime, where you find that lady seated, that man seated, that is what we call a kiosk. Those houses are very temporary. They are never strong. So these are some examples of temporary houses. As you can see, temporary houses are many than the permanent houses. Permanent houses are only 2 and the temporary houses are very, very many. So I have a question for you who is watching me. Is your house temporary or it is permanent? Look at your house. Is it built with strong building materials, or it is built with weak building materials? If you cannot tell which material is used to build your house, ask mommy, ask daddy, which material was used to build your house. Otherwise, thank you very much for the lesson. May God bless you.